Review just for architects. Where are my AIA peeps? All right, this webinar is brought to you by GRAITEC. My name is Misty Scott, and I am pleased to be your moderator today. As a reminder, you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. Before we dive in, we'd love to learn more about how we can best support you and your business. So if you could take a short moment to answer the poll questions on the right side of your screen, it would help us learn how we can best serve you. We'd also like to invite you to take advantage of a free trial of Bluebeam or check out our custom training options. You can scan the QR code on the screen, but I will also add these back to the screen at the end of the session during Q&A, and I have also put them in the live chat for those of you who are watching on demand. All right. So, without further ado,
wait a minute. Put it back. I was in the middle of scanning.
Oh no, let me go back.
Oh, all right. Wait. So I can get a free trial of Bluebeam.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. And training. Who would be my trainer? They can sign up just for
you, Rick, of course.
Oh, all right. Just making sure everyone knows.
All right, so I don't need to introduce him. If you've been on Bluebeam webinars before, you know this guy. Rick Kramer is a Bluebeam certified instructor at GRAITEC with years of experience in his field. He is also a speaker at Bluebeam XCon, hopefully Bluebeam Unbound this year. We'll throw that out in the Bluebeam atmosphere. Monthly host of Bluebeam webinars, the best trainer for Bluebeam that has ever existed. And an advocate for Bluebeam and AEC integration. Rick, thank you so much for joining us today. And you guys, before we get started, I have a punny joke. That's with a P, okay? I've got a punny joke.
A punny joke. All right, because wait a minute. Before we get into punny jokes,
okay,
I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. So everyone knows, usually I have a hat. I'm a hat guy. You know why? Because I'm follically challenged. So I got to keep it covered. There we go.
Oh, wow.
It's gone.
There it is.
Sunset. Come on, green screen. You let me down. So there it is right there. What do you think, Misty?
That's pretty cool. That's amazing. Is that where you live at? Because I know you're in Florida.
This is it. This is me right here. You can't see me. I'm here with a little cocktail because it's 5 o'clock somewhere in Florida all the time. So.
Absolutely. I love it, Rick. That's so you. You need to wear that from here on out. That's my vote.
Done. All right. Let's hear what punnies are. I've never heard of a punny.
So what did the contractor say after finishing a big project?
Ooh, that's all, folks.
Well, I will tell you the answer because we don't have a multiple choice here. He said, nailed it.
Oh, bump.
I trialed this in our office today, and I went around and asked people in the office, was this funny? I got a resounding no, but I said, but it is funny.
That makes it better. Makes it better. That really does. And you know what? I'm not prepared. If folks joining us, we love dad jokes and mom jokes. Last time we had a mom joke. We had one of the users over here. And by the way, if you have a joke, put it in the chat. We will be happy to give you props for your joke. Oh, I got one. All right. So this rope walks into the bar. Have you heard this one yet, Misty?
No, because I didn't know ropes could walk, but go ahead.
All right. In this case, ropes walk. This rope walks into the bar and seats himself at the bar, and he says, "Bartender, I'll have a drink, please." And he looks at him and he says, "Sorry, we don't serve your kind in here." And he's like, "Oh, all right." Gets all upset and leaves the bar and walks outside. He's a rope. It's a visual thing. And then he goes like this, the top of his rope. And he comes back, comes to the bar, says, "Bartender, I'll have a drink, please." And he looks at him. He says, "Aren't you that same rope that was just here?" He says, "Nope, I'm afraid not."
Okay, I think that one was a little better than mine, Rick. I have to say, I think that's
I
pretty good.
I missed the fact that I tied himself into a knot and then did this.
Oh, and then
Oh,
you did that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Still,
So I'm
it
afraid
slapped.
not. Oh, but I'm bummed.
I
That's
love it.
that's
We listen in at GRAITEC, me and Rick are probably the goofiest ones in our company. That's what we're called. And when you get us together, we just can't behave. And I apologize. I know y'all are here for Bluebeam stuff, so I will pass it to Rick, but we love to have fun. So thank you for
yeah.
enduring that with us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And matter of fact, I was reminded that I won an award here at GRAITEC a couple years ago of most likely to misplace his car rental.
I
I
believe
got an
that.
award. I got an award for that. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. All my AIA peeps that are out there, let's give it a whoop whoop. Thank you for joining. All right, I'm going to go ahead. Misty, bring me center stage on my Bluebeam, please. So here's what we're going to do. This is really focused for my fellow AIA peeps working in Bluebeam Revu, and I'm going to solve two issues that usually come up when working on documents. One is managing those documents. And as a project architect, we have a variety of all these different drawings, and we want an easy way to navigate around these drawings. And I'm going to introduce you to something called sets. The second part of the issues that us architects always deal with, and project managers alike, is red lines and issuing those red lines. And I'm going to show you how we can distribute those red lines in a new hybrid environment where we find ourselves, where some of us are working from home and some of us are working in the office, and we want to consistently have pick up red lines and distribute red lines to our team no matter where they are. So step one, let's talk about how do we manage a set of drawings. So here in Bluebeam, I'm going to go ahead and launch this file over here, and I have all of these different drawings. And so this is typical on any project. I have a variety of project files from architects, architectural drawings to mechanical, electrical, and I need a better way of managing them instead of like double clicking here and opening this. So in Bluebeam Revu, if you haven't seen this before, this is called sets. So a set, I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine. Do you remember those rolled up drawings that were stapled together or with an aluminum binder or that post? So we walk around with these rolled up drawings, and each drawing had a set of disciplines, right? In the real drawings. We can do this digitally by having a digital set of drawings that we can organize automatically all the architecture, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, using built-in Bluebeam OCR. So over here, I'm going to go to sets, and I'm going to start by going over here and creating a new set. And this just basically says, hey, we're going to create a digital set of drawings that goes through and behaves like a rolled up set of drawings and is easier to manage. So I'm going to go ahead and go, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to now add the files over here to this dialog box. I'm going to browse and basically go through, and you're ready. I'm just selecting all of these files, all 68, and hit open. And you're ready? I'm just going to hit OK. Hit OK. Did you see that? Now, hindsight, I had gone through one time before and designated an area where it was to scan each one of these files. So a dialog box would have come up if I had done this the very, very first time, and it would say, where's the sheet name? And it would open up one of these sheets, and all I have to do is window around the sheet name. And then it would say, what's the sheet number? And I would go over here and window around the sheet number, just like that. And it scans all the drawings and automatically puts them in these categories. So what's nice about these categories is that if I want to go through and get to any of these files, I can roll this up, right? And basically, if I want to go to my structural drawing, I just simply click and it opens up that drawing. And I close it and I navigate to that. If I wanted to go through and reorganize this, all I have to do is go to Modify Sets, go to Options, and for example, I just want to see the page label. I don't want to see it twice. and I'm going to go category. And over here, I like my architecture drawings above my structure. So I'll take the structure and I'll just slide it down. So it's civil, landscape, architecture, then structure, just like it does in my regular set of drawings. And I'll go ahead and hit OK. Hit OK, hit OK one more time, and it organizes it. On the left-hand side, here's general, civil, landscaping, architectural, structure. So there's architecture and there's structure. So now I can start to go through and get to my drawings, which makes slip sheeting, which I'm not going to get into, a breeze. If I were to slip sheet a new drawing and I got a new A.12 or a new mechanical drawing, then it's going to show me always the most current drawing, and then it'll have a little arrow over here to show me that I have an old drawing, and it'll have a big superseded on it, which makes working on drawings a breeze. So that's step one. These drawings are now categorized for me by discipline, and if I wanted to go through and take this drawing and begin to work on it, right? So all I have to do is start to go over here to my tools, right, and begin to work on it. But if you're using Revu for the very first time and we're like, need to review this, right? This information is generic. It's just called Cloud Plus. What we're going to do instead is I'm going to go through and create a set of tools that are discipline related. What I mean by that is I like to have my markups per discipline. Comments that might be for my architecture team internal, one for mechanical, one for electrical, plumbing, etc. And I want to use them over and over again. This is where we're going to introduce the tool set. So actually there's three things I'm going to show you. One is to customize our markup so that we have markups per discipline, which means we can create reports over here in our markups list using the summary report. And I can have reports just isolated for the mechanical or electrical or plumbing, and it's awesome. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start to go through and create some custom tools, and I'm going to store them over here in a custom tool set, and then I'll show you how we can distribute these drawings globally using Bluebeam Cloud. So are you ready? This is going to be fun. First things first, I'm going to go over here and create a new tool set. So I'm going to add a new tool set, and I'm going to call this my AIA tools. And I'll go ahead and hit OK, store it on my computer. I can store it on the network. It's wherever I want it to be. And here are my AIA tools. I'll change that to detail view. And now over here, I'm just using this as a placeholder. I'm going to go through and create some tools, some markups that might be for architecture, comments, mechanical, and electrical. I'll start simple. I'm going to go over here with a text box and say that everything there is going to be yellow. And that way I have consistency, and this is arch comments. And I'm actually going to do a couple different types of markups. Here's a highlighter. Here's a Cloud Plus. And these are arch comments. Now, all of these that I just placed, you'll notice are generically called something. What I'm going to do is window around all of these. Actually, first, for consistency's sake, I'll fill this in with yellow. And now everything that's yellow is always going to be an arc comment that I can visually see. But then I'm going to window around all of them. So I right-clicked and selected them all. And then I'm going to go to its properties and go to subject. So if you haven't changed your markups to be organized by subject, today's the day that I was today years old when I learned about changing. So I'm going to go over here and put all of these by arc comment. Now, when I use any of these, they'll always be organized by arc comment. So we mentioned other disciplines. So I'm going to select this and make some copies. Whoops, just 3 of them. And those and these are going to be for electrical. And electrical, I'm going to go and change some of the information. Now, the nice thing about this is I only have to do this once, and then I can store this information in my tool set. Look, I'm walking and talking at the same time. Misty knows I can't walk and talk. So I'm actually surprised at myself that I'm able to do this and talk at the same time. We'll window around all of those, and let's do structure. struct comments. Okay. And I'll go over here and change that to dark blue. Ooh, no, let's do orange. Aren't you glad I didn't pick something else? Ba-dum-bum. And the jokes keep getting better. Struct comments. Struct comments and that color and that color and over here. So now I've created 3 different type of markups, and if when I click on subject, you'll see that they're all organized by comments, architecture, and structure. So now I have different types of comments that I can use. I'll take all of these right here, right click, and add them to my tool chest, my AIA tools. And I'll simply go over here and double click. And here's my arch. I'm going to move my electrical comment down over here, keeping my arch together, electrical and structure together. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. And now I can start to go through and place these on the drawing. So when I have a necessity to go through and make comments for the architect, I'll go over here and say, need to, whoops, let's try that again. I like Cloud Plus. So I'll go over here and say, need to review entrance with owner, right? And then I'll go over here to my drawing sets, right? And let's go over to my electrical. And so here's electrical, and then I'll go to my electrical and say over here, here's my electrical. Need to make this bigger. I don't know, whatever it is, right? And what was some of the other ones? We had structure. So I'll go over into structure, go to sets, find my structure drawings. And add a note here for structure. So the whole idea is that the information that I'm going through, creating this information, is designated per discipline. I'm also putting it on those sheets, which makes it nice. So review, stud, placement, right? Review, stud, placement. You notice over here I misspelled review. It spell checks for me, so I can right click and make that better. So here's structure, comments, etc. So now I can start to go through and have all that information at my fingertips. What's nice about this format is now every time I open up a set of drawings, the comments are discipline related. So in the last step, how do we take a drawing like this right here and simply work on it in a session? So the whole idea is we're working on a drawing, we're redlining the drawings, but we want to distribute those to the entire team. And the team can be distributed. Included in Bluebeam Revu 21, if you're on subscription, you have what's called Bluebeam Cloud. Bluebeam Cloud is a cloud application that allows you to go through and store this information on the cloud, so you can make those comments and markups on the go on another desktop without having to install Revu or using your phone, your iPhone or iPad. And it's a free app, and you'll have access to marking up these drawings. So how do we push it to the cloud? Easy. I'll go over here and let me go into Studio. In Studio, I'm going to go into what's called Sessions. Sessions is the cat's meow. This is the everything. This is where we want to go through and live collaborate on any drawings. I'll go over here and simply click plus and go over here and select new session. Over here, I'm going to call this AIA working session, and I'm going to add my open files. Oh, I have to save what I was working on. And there they are. Next, want to always make sure to restrict by email attendees, and then simply hit OK. That's it. How easy was that? And now all I have to do is invite people to the party to mark up the drawings. So let me talk about how this is currently used in the real world. I have a customer in Atlanta, and their company is based in Atlanta, headquartered in Atlanta. Their manager lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I believe. And she redlines her drawings all day long and puts them in a drawing session, in a studio session. Everyone on her design team that is sitting in Atlanta, working from home, working in the office, picks up the red lines. As they pick up the red lines, they show that they've completed them. And then my friend Tanya, who lives in a different state, the project manager, can pick up those red lines or view who's picked them up. And there's never an email back and forth. To invite people to this working session is easy. Over here is an invitation link. All I have to do is click copy, and the link is copied to my desktop, to my clipboard. I'll go ahead and or use their built-in share invitations. I'll go ahead and hit cancel. Now if I open up Outlook and start a new email over here, I can send this to my friend Misty and say, please join me online, and paste. And that's it. I can put this in chat and everyone can now have access to this. They don't need to install anything. They just click on it and then it goes right into the session, and he or she can then start marking up the drawings. So how does that work? So if I start to go through and close these files, and we're going to take a look at the drawings that are here, I've now opened up this working session. If multiple people were here in that session, they could go through and use all of these tools over here. If I'd shared this with them, create that markup, and I could say, Misty, please pick this up, right? Misspelled it. But nonetheless, Misty on that side could basically go through and pick up this red line, and when she is done with it, guess what? All she has to do is right click on it, set the status to completed. And over here in the markups list, I'll turn on status and it shows that it's been completed. You can even customize this. I'm going to change the status over here, QA, QC, completed. And for this one, I've customized it so that when I go through and create a red line, and here's another one, for example, whatever it is, when I go through and set the status, it'll show me different colors. So automatically it's showed up as redlined, as red. And then over here, when someone picks up the red line, it changes it to a different color, filled in. And then at the last step, over here, when it's completed and picked up by QA/QC, it now turns gray, all of which is now shown in the markups list. So every time we change the status to it being completed, it goes through and visually changes it on the screen. But then more importantly, I can track that information here in the status, which means if I'm 100 miles away or working in a different location, I can see who picked up that red line and when. They can also click and hit a reply. They can ask a comment. So that's what I wanted to show you for my AIA peeps. Just as a quick recap, one, drawing sets, how we can utilize drawing sets to manage a whole set of drawings easily using drawing sets. And we can organize them here on the left-hand side automatically. Makes my job a lot easier. The second is working in a collaboration style using sessions. And then part of that is introducing your own custom tools and then sharing these with everyone. And you might be wondering, how do I share these with everyone? Well, I'm glad you asked. All I have to do is go over here and click export. That BTX file, all I have to do is email that to whomever, and they'll have those same tools, so my distributed team can have those tools locally on their own computer, or if I put it on the network, I can go through and simply import those here. So I can select import and point to my SharePoint drive or OneDrive. So I know that's a lot. I got to tell you this, if you have any questions or you're like, wait a minute, I lost you at hello. I lost you after you put on your hat. Feel free to reach out to us and I'd be happy to get together with you one-on-one to show you how to do this. Misty?
Yeah, we've got a couple questions here, but if they are interested in reaching out to you and setting up a meeting, is the best thing to email webinars@graitec.com? Do you think that's the best route and I get you connected with them?
I think so. I definitely think so. Yep.
All right. I'm going to put that in the chat. And we actually, I just noticed this. We have two Amy's that asked questions.
All right. Well, the
I
first
know.
Amy, step right up.
The first Amy, when would you recommend using sets versus Bluebeam sessions?
So it's a really good question. So here's the thing. Sets live, they don't live in sessions. Unfortunately, at this point, drawings by themselves can only live individually. When sets basically live on your computer or in a studio project. And we didn't talk about studio projects, but studio projects doesn't allow for collaboration. It allows for check in and check out. So Amy, one, to answer your question, anytime that I'm working in a drawing set, and these drawings are stored anywhere. They could be pointing to the network, a SharePoint, a C drive, OneDrive, or to studio projects. What I typically will do, because this doesn't have a checked out dialog box, and someone might accidentally be opening S1.21 in a session and not realizing it. So I'll go to S.12.1, which is on my computer over here, and I'll put a big old text box over here and do something just like this in a session. And basically put that right there in the middle of this sheet and save it, right? So this is now stored back on my computer, and if I was really fancy, I would put in the session number that's there, because I've literally kind of checked that out and done this manually and put it into a session. Does that make sense, Amy? Amy one?
Yeah, Amy, let us know. I think it makes sense, but we want to make sure that answers your question directly, Amy. And then the other Amy, she has a top tier vocabulary. I told her, and if I say this the wrong way, y'all don't hold this against me. But her question was, can an entire set be added to the session, and what does that look like? Individual files or a more contiguous set?
Oh, yes, contiguous. You said it. That was a
Did I say it right?
big word. I tell you what, if this webinar, is that it? And if this webinar was tomorrow, both of us would be messing it up. And you know, I'm in Florida, so it's 5 o'clock every day. So 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyway, to your question, Amy, too. Unfortunately, when we take the drawings, so we're in a set, right? I can open up all these individual drawings, but when I bring it into the session, they're individual. They're not going to have the order like we're used to seeing. So here's my workaround. Because sessions does not support sets, I will typically have a project, and that project I can name whatever I want. And let's say it's called Office Depot, right? So I'll do Office Depot arch drawings and upload all the arch drawings to the arch session of Office Depot. Then the mechanical for Office Depot, that'll be a separate session. And that way I will have a working session for the arc drawings, mechanical, electrical, etc. as separate session names. And use that as a way to kind of organize and keep all of those right here, just by discipline per session. That's my workaround. Good question.
She had a second part to that. Excuse me. She said, and also, is that organization then translated to bookmarks?
So bookmarks, yes. So your bookmarks go with the drawings. So when you bookmark a drawing, all of that information is stored in that file. So had I created bookmarks in this particular file, if I were to go to bookmarks, those bookmarks would show up because they're attached to this file right here. Now that's different than what you might be referring to as hyperlinks. So hyperlinks is if I have a call out like this right here, or in my architectural drawings, right? And that's referring to another sheet. that falls apart in a session. They have to basically be part of a studio project or in a session. Because what happens is the file is no longer located, let's say, here on your C drive. So if I were to take a look at D and S2.2, this is going to be hyperlinked to S2.2 stored on a location. It's hardwired, so it's going to go to that location. So I usually do hyperlinks on my drawings in projects. Let me kind of backpedal a little bit. Another way to answer your question is if you start off by going into a studio project. So this is my real world workflow. My drawings are located on my local drive, wherever they are. I create a studio project. In that studio project, I upload the set. I create the set and it's stored in the studio project. Those files can then be organized and the set still works within studio projects because it's a website that it goes to get that information. Then the drawings that are part of that studio project, let's say like this is not part of a set. But if these were the drawings that I wanted to send to a session, I basically go through in the project here, right click and add these to a session. This will temporarily remove those, not remove them, check them out and put them in a working session. So there's nothing that you need to do. It'll automatically lock it so it's read only for everyone else. A copy of that goes into a session. You work on it in the session. When you're done, you close it and choose to have it return to the original location, and it'll return it to the studio project. Did that make sense? Amy too?
Yeah, I think it does. She did say this. She said she was wondering if the set structure would translate into bookmarks.
So I'd have to look into that because bookmarks, I think they're used differently. I use them. Yeah, I'd have to look into that because I don't use the bookmarks for my hyperlinks because I manually or automatically set those up. So let's do a quick test. Should we go for it? Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to go through. I'm going to open up another set of drawings that are over here. Let me do sets. I'm going to go over here and open up. Let's go over here with labels. That's already downloaded. All right, let's do it. Let's find out. So this right here, I've already gone through and hyperlinked. So what that means is if I go through this drawing, now this is not in a set, but it would behave the same way. If I go through and create hyperlinks, that's what I think you might be talking about, but those hyperlinks are here and anything it goes to, this is something I created in Bluebeam that'll go to the sheet if it exists. If I go to bookmarks, I don't know if I had created those. I know I had created these earlier because I create page labels and then create bookmarks. So bookmarks are only going to be created by page labels or a page region. So bookmarks is kind of a way where I can go through, I hit OK, and because I've created page labels, it's creating bookmarks. But bookmarks is to go to a page. The hyperlinks is to hyperlink all of your callouts. I know I probably just muddied that up.
I think it makes sense, and they're going to get the recording, so they can rewind you and play it again. Yeah. I think it makes sense for sure.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you are our customer, Amy, you can reach out to us at support@graitec.com, and we can do a one-on-one session, and you can show me your screen, and we can work out how you're using bookmarks versus maybe hyperlinks, and see if we can get to the bottom of it. All of our customers get top tier support from me and some of our other coworkers. So feel free to reach out to us at support@graitec.com and create support case.
Fantastic. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, I know we're right at 1:35. I do want to put this on the screen as I promised.
Let's see.
It's easy for you.
Is it another joke? Is it another joke?
No, it's not. It's not a joke, but you know what? It's free stuff. Well, this one's not free. I apologize. It's free to click the button, but if you're
Free to click. Click away.
I thought it was a free trial. If you're interested in setting up Bluebeam training, you can have customized sessions. You can do an individual. You can do a group. We've got you covered no matter what. You can click there right on the screen. You can request the one and only Rick Kramer. I mean, why wouldn't you? That's right. The guy that you want to train with, and we've got him. So you can click right there. And I'm going to leave it just for a second and check the chat to see if you have any other questions. I don't see any. I'm going to swap it over in a second here. But Rick, is there any common questions that you can think of, like when you're in training, if you're training somebody on this?
That's a great point. So a couple things that happen, so as an example, Amy 1, I think, was the one that brought up the question about when sessions, right, we don't have the ability to continue working in a set natively in a drawing session. So here's my 2 cents. Bluebeam directly is always listening to our customers. And if you want to have your voice be heard, go to the help menu and go over here to make a suggestion. It's 1 paragraph. Just fill that in. The more of us that put in that suggestion saying, bring sets into sessions, maybe together we can make it happen. Crowdsourcing, right? Or whatever it is. But seriously, the Bluebeam actually told me they listen all the time to make a suggestion. They want to make any of the improvements they can for Bluebeam Revu. Like, for example, these high-end monitors, this one's not, are LED, and they're bright, and they kind of could hurt your eyes if you're staring at them for 8 to 10 hours. So one of the new features is dark mode. And isn't that easier to look at?
I love dark mode. Yeah.
Even in my eyes right now, they're like, oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And so this doesn't print like this. This is just on your monitor, and you can change the color. Matter of fact, here's something fun. When the Barbie movie came out, which, by the way, I loved. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Right? So when Barbie came out, I went over to dark mode, and guess what I did? Booyah. Just like that. Pink, baby.
Wow.
Booyah.
That's adorable, Rick, and it's adorable that you did that. I just want to call that out.
Right? Hey, why does it always have to be boring? No, let's switch it up. So anyway, every color you want, you can have dark mode be, and then just a click away and put it back the way it was. But yeah, if you ever mess with someone when they're away from their desk, go to their desk, enable dark mode, and put it in pink. See what happens.
You've just told on yourself. If you're in the Atlanta office and this happens to anybody, we know who it is, Rick. So
I know. Truth be known, I was the guy also when we would go around and take I'm dating myself. I would take the ball out of the mouse, and the person would come over. They're like, oh, it's not working. It's not working. That's in the way back.
Mischievous. Yeah,
I'm very mischievous.
We let you have it though, right? Because you're so lovable and mischievous. So it weighs out. It balances out. Sure. I did want to say, I put the free trial link on the screen for you guys. So if you're interested in that, you can click it. Rick, remind me, is it 14 days?
It's a full month, I think.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's a full month. And it's fully functional. It's not like it's limited. You get the complete version. The only thing that you don't get access to is Bluebeam University. But yeah, take it for a test spin. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And all of our customers, I don't know if you knew this, Misty, but all of our Bluebeam customers, when you become a new customer, we give you a free 1-hour complimentary training that I hold every month for our new customers. And
wait a minute, hold on. So if they purchase a Bluebeam seat, doesn't matter how many, if they do just one,
It
they get.
one or five, but they have to buy it from us. In which, by the way, we get better pricing to our customers than Bluebeam Direct. So you can save money. You get unlimited tech support from me. And third, you get a free 1 hour training for you and your staff. Doesn't matter if you buy 1 or 500 seats. Maybe if you get 500 seats, we'll have a conversation. But but you get free training, 1 hour. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
That could be onboarding for anybody new,
it is.
that comes on. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
anyway, thank you
fantastic.
all for your time. I want to put back time on your clock so you can, you know, get back to your 5 o'clock somewhere drinks or whatever.
That's why we love you, Rick. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope it was meaningful and impactful to you and your businesses. If you are interested in learning more or setting up a meeting, there's a poll question. You just got to say yes. And if you're watching this on demand, you can email webinars@graitec.com. I'll get you hooked up with the right person with the right answers. I do see those, so I have a preference because I like to make sure y'all are taken care of if you send it over to webinars@graitec.com. But Rick, thank you so much for joining us as well. And we do
Miss,
look forward to seeing you all on future webinars.
all right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.